ball. She's capable of dropping 20 and a half, but she also does the little things, Clay. Rebounds, steals, blocks, just a blast to watch.
Brenda Pantoja, Alicia Murray, John Capolino are officiating crew, and we're underway here in the first round from Coral Gables. And Arizona State controls the opening tip. What do you expect here early?
Well, I think that this should be a really interesting game. There's going to be a defensive battle, to say the least. I think that you're going to see UCF full court press the whole time. They play this 3-2 zone, which is what they're known for. It's going to be a lot of good, solid, fundamental basketball.
Arizona State's going to keep it here with 4 seconds on the shot clock. The Sun Devils finished 5th in the Pac-12. Didn't play well at the Pac-12 tournament. They got ousted by UCLA in the quarterfinals, but they feel like they've hit the reset button. And that three doesn't go for Ekmark. And here come the UCF Knights, who have, like we said, exceeded expectations. And it's a balanced offense. Wright, the only player in double figures on average, but they go 11 deep.
A very deep team. And Arizona State can play a lot of players off the bench too. And both teams are just tremendous defensive teams that lead to their offense.
Here's KK Wright. She'll hoist a long two, doesn't go, and it's out of bounds to Arizona State. It is the same starting five that we have come to know for the Sun Devils. In fact, for the 60th straight game, it's been Richardson, Ryan, Ekmark, Ibis, and Johnson Chapman. Also a very deep bench. They rotate 11 or 12 players. They've
been tremendous, and they've got that staunch defense that Charlie Turner-Thorne in her 22nd season is known for, and that's their staple. They rebound. They're ranked in that department. Neither team turns the ball over a lot either. Pretty clean.
These are our Capital One starting lineups. They work it inside, and here's Ibis doing the work. Doesn't go, and KK Wright, she can rebound too.
And they're looking at outlet quick, Clay.
Kayla Thigpen had it poked away. She got it back. American Conference 6th Player of the Year for the 12 seed UCF Knights. This is Nyla Schuler in the lane, running right hand, doesn't go. And the rebound to Robbie Ryan, the native of Sheridan, Wyoming. Attacking, kicking, Richardson. She'll drive and throw it out to Ibis.
The jitters, there's some jitters. Both teams.
You see Katie Abrahamson Henderson in her 3rd year at UCF. And it's the 3rd different program she's taken to the national tournament. Missouri State, Albany, and now UCF. They've
been just tremendous. And the thing about this team, she said, is that I didn't expect to be where we are. Now we've raised the bar pretty high. And she is, if you think about it, hasn't had all her recruits in just her 3rd season.
Courtney Ekmark, the first points of the game, and it's a 3 for the Phoenix native.
And that's something Ekmark can do, and that's what her specialty is popping out and spreading that floor.
UConn transfer. Top 3-point shooter for Arizona State. Schuler can't get it to go for the Knights. And here come the Sun Devils again with Riley Richardson, who is the floor general, pushing the pace.
Can the Sun Devils continue to make those perimeter shots? That's a key against the zone.
And that zone defense forces another turnover.
They're so good at it, but people are going to be open because they don't really cover it based upon personnel. So there's got to be patience and ball movement against it. They have turned a lot of teams over, UCF, this season.
They want that up-tempo pace. And now Thigpen driving, floats it up, can't get it to go. Ekmark tracks it down for the Sun Devils, leading 3-0 here early. Davis bounces it over to Johnson. Chapman lost it at her feet, got it back.
It's funny because when we talked to Katie, to Coach A before the game, she said it's hard to score against them and it's hard to score on us.
Here's Ekmark trying another 3, that time a little strong. Didn't follow her shot, and Sydney McDonald gets the loose ball. KK Wright, star player, first team all-conference in the American again. Over 1,000 career points for KK. It all starts with her.
A natural-born leader who's gotten so much better this season.
Thigpen's not bad either. That's her first basket, and the first basket for UCF.
This is one of the best mid-range jump shooting teams in the country. UCF looks to do that. A lost art in basketball. I love to see how much her and KK use it.
Here's Ibis. Missed it. Johnson-Chapman, second chance. She can't get it to go. Ekmark working hard underneath.
That's fabulous. And Courtney Ekmark does the dirty work. She's so known for her outside shots that when she hunts her shot down or other people's shots down, listen, she's one of the best out there to score.
We were talking to Charlie Turner-Thorne, the longtime head coach for the Sun Devils, said she's got the killer instinct. The team will feed off of her if she gets it going, and she gets another miss off the rebound. Here comes Arizona State again as UCF is 1 for 6 from the field to start. Ibis, nice move to clear some space, got it, and one.
That's a true up and under move from Ibis. I mean, that is just terrific teamwork. You see the rhythm here. She got it wide open, had a great move to the basket, back to the basket, and Ibis scores in a variety of ways. But how about the post entry pass from Riley Richardson? She's one of the best to do it. Number 5 in the nation and number 1 in the Pac-12 in assist to turnover ratio.
Charlie Turner-Thorne in her 22nd year as head coach at Arizona State, 14th national tournament with the Sun Devils. She's had a couple of Elite 8 teams. She told us this is her most battle-tested team.
Well, when you think about it, it's the Pac-12 conference in general is a really tough conference. It's a commanding schedule. They are playing the best of the best every single week. And then she goes and schedules tough teams outside of her conference to top it off. Every year, she has been preparing her teams.
Arizona State with first-round wins in 13 of their 16 NCAA trips, right off the miss, and UCF is really having a hard time from the field here to start.
Because Arizona State plays just as good of a defense as UCF. They've actually limited teams in the Pac-12 below their average. Every team in the Pac-12 has scored below their average against them.
Jamie Rudin on the baseline, looking for help. That goes through the legs of Hanson. Kiki Russell, the floater with the left hand. Good work there by Sophia Alenga to keep it alive for the Sun Devils. You will see this a lot from Charlie Turner-Thorne. She will substitute liberally. Uses a lot of players.
And so will Coach Abe of UCF, absolutely.
Ekmark will try a 3 again.
And against this zone, rebounding will be a key. A lot of long shots, long rebounds. Nobody to box you out since it's not man-to-man. You have to hunt it down yourself.
That rebound from Masani Kaba, the 6'3" sophomore post. Brittany Smith, she can't get it going from close range. Program record 6 straight NCAA tournaments for the Sun Devils. Out to the 8-2 start here. And an up and back first quarter, and now we're going to get an offensive foul. 3:31 to go, opening quarter. Good start for the Suns.
All around, 22nd year at the helm, and she's got her players to play this way. This is a style, this is a toughness and a tenacity that they play with year in and year out. They've limited every team in the Pac-12 to under their average. That says a lot. I mean, that's how they get it done. And then that defense leads to their offense.
So far, just 1 field goal and 9 shot attempts for the Knights. Especially having a hard time getting inside. Wilson will attack in the lane. Had it blocked, got it back, missed the shot.
You're going to get a lot of one-and-dones against a team like ASU too because they rebound. So you have to take good shots, not just a shot.
Kiki Russell, the Osseo, Minnesota native. Working in the backcourt with Umbalito. Down inside to Kiana Ibis. Shot clock under 10. Umbalito spins it out to Alenga. She'll float it up off the 10 and down. It's 10-2.
That's a nice move. And I like the patience. ASU patient, moving the basketball. And that young lady has such an ability who has started to really blossom over the last year or so, Sophia Alenga from France. Such an athlete.
Well, maybe that'll get the Knights going as KK Wright, the leader for this UCF team, gets her first field goal of the tournament.
And she's got to get going. For them to do well, this 5'7" junior has got to put up the points. She averages 18 a game. They need her to have 18 to 25 a game in this tournament. They don't have too many other players that really pick up the slack in that department. In terms of double figures, Thigpen will do it too.
And an offensive foul against UCF. That's on Wright. That's the first on KK. She had offers from Auburn, South Carolina. Wanted to stay close to home in Orlando. And she has become a star.
And she's lost a ton of weight since her freshman year over the last 2 seasons. Didn't feel like her best, and then she lost a lot of weight, and she's just been different. In the weight room, in the gym, a total wrap.
Riley Richardson. Get it to Robbie Ryan. 5 on the shot clock. Richardson finally aware of the shot clock. Throws a line drive 3. Ibis there to clean it up for Arizona State.
That is just a really nice job tracking the rebound. And that's where you've got to put a body on Ibis. That was a little too easy for her to walk in there.
14 points, 7 rebounds on average for Ibis, the product of Benson High School in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's my big problem with the zone. You just don't have a man to box out.
5 down for Ibis. We get a foul and a whistle away from the ball. A minute and 5 seconds to go here in the quarter.
But look at this cleanup play. Kiana Ibis tracking down the rebound. Nobody putting a body on her. I mean, she does it in so many ways. And that's why I said in the beginning, she's a flat-out baller. I mean, she dropped 21 of her 28 points in the second half in double overtime against Oregon State this season. So she can get it done against the best.
2-time All Pac-12. There's right under a minute to go. UCF trying to get something going. There's another offensive foul. This time it goes against Kaba. And this is really becoming a challenge for the Knights to find traction on the offensive end. Now 2 of 12 from the field. And that's their 4th team foul here in the quarter. 51 seconds to go. The Knights will pick up the pressure here, full court. Five for Ekmark, 5 for Ibis here for Arizona State in the quarter. Ryan drives. Johnson Chapman trying to get it to Ekmark, tipped out of bounds by L'Oreal Wilson of UCF, and Arizona State has 5 to shoot. Not a lot of time, and another offensive foul called, this time against Charnay Johnson Chapman. Officials really calling it tight here in the early going. Shot clock is off. KK Wright and Riley Richardson, a good one-on-one battle. Here's Wright. 4 seconds. Puts up the jumper. Got it. KK Wright just ahead of the horn here in the first quarter. UConn Huskies, a 2 seed this year. You know, 25 or more wins each season since 2010 and 11. You see, you know, some of the usual suspects, UConn, Notre Dame, Baylor, but how about the Atlantic Sun champs, Florida Gulf Coast, who we'll see later here in Coral Gables.
We gotta prime everybody up for that one, because Florida Gulf Coast is on a 19-game winning streak. I don't care what conference you're in. That's a dangerous team to face in the Big Dance. They're playing well.
There's another turnover for UCF as Smith travels in the lane. It has been a rough start for the Knights. Some of it's self-inflicted, but no doubt the Arizona State defense has come to play.
It's been their defense, their rebounding, their first everything, and this is the Arizona State team I have had a pleasure to see over the last few years. It's just how they play. It doesn't even matter who they have.
And you cover a ton of Pac-12.
Exactly. I mean, over the past few years I have, and they're just tremendous. And I think being in that tough conference helps them come big dance time.
There's a foul out high against the Knights. That's going to go against Thigpen. Yeah, the Pac-12 got 6 teams in the tournament this year. Stanford and Oregon, the 2 seeds from the Pac-12. Oregon State, a 4 seed. UCLA, a 6. Cal, an 8. So, yeah, a meat grinder of a league again out west.
It's a Power 5 conference.
They go inside. Here's Jamie Root. Good spin.
Another O board play.
Yep. They are just dominating inside. And Ekmark, the Arcadia, Arizona native, gets fouled. Well, speaking of Arizona State, they have one of the country's best hockey teams. And they'll find out where they're going in the national tournament Sunday at 7 Eastern. The NCAA Men's Ice Hockey Selection Special on ESPNU and the app. You can visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. The only independent in Division I hockey this year, the Sun Devils of Arizona State, and they might be the first independent going to the NCAA tournament. Looks like that's going to be the case, so great story there. That's the 3rd team foul now on UCF as Smith commits her first. KK Wright with 2 fouls for the Knights. That could spell doom for this team if she gets in any more foul trouble.
Well, the one area of improvement that Coach A would like to see from this team, and she's told me throughout the season, is to get a second player and third player to score in double figures, and it is not an easy thing to do.
And Brittany Smith with another personal, another offensive foul called. So 2 fouls on Brittany Smith.
She's their lone big and a player that I like as a forward. Nice job here. And I thought she was kind of selling that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really thought that was a major sell. But she got there.
Arizona State handling the pressure of UCF so far pretty well in this game. Just 5 turnovers. Ekmark gets in deep, can't get it to go. Another offensive rebound, and the stick back by Johnson Chapman.
I mean, all over the floor. Arizona State is literally grabbing a hold of every single opportunity.
And Brianne January there over on the sideline for Arizona State too. 2 great head coaches, and they've assembled some really great coaching staffs.
They really have. I mean, to see what Coach Abe has been able to do at UCF in such a short period of time is pretty incredible. And of course, Charlie Turner-Thorne has done it forever. As you mentioned, playing for legendary coach Tara Vanderveer. Now they're coaching against each other in the same conference, which is pretty neat. But always been a feisty guard and a terrific coach who really emphasizes rebounding. And you see her team here doing that. And she says our best offense is second chance shots.
Oh, great pass from the point. Umbolito. And that is the first assist of the game for either team, and it comes from Iris Umbolito.
And not surprising. There has not been a lot of great shooting. It's been low scoring first half for sure. And UCF just can't get any offense going out of this defense.
Rounded off. And drawing the foul is Kaba. Here's Olenga's basket on the feed from Iris Umbolito.
And that's just a terrific job from the freshman. 6'1" freshman guard from Spain getting it done. She was on the 2019 Pac-12 All-Freshman Honorable Mention team. But she comes off the bench and gives them really good minutes. She's been in rhythm throughout the postseason. Kind of that energy player. And a lot of players that Coach Turner-Thorne can turn to from this Sun Devils team.
It's very much an international flavor to the Sun Devils roster. They got players from France, Spain, Canada.
It's a global recruiting process anymore. I mean, it really is. You can get blue chip players that are a little bit more unknown across the waters.
That's an Arizona State turnover, their 6th of the game. UCF trying to string something together here.
And UCF's been able to turn teams over this whole season. So if they're not able to do that against Arizona State, they're not going to be able to manufacture offense easily.
Another foul away from the ball, and it's going to go against Kaba, her second. So another turnover for UCF. The offensive fouls, the player control fouls, fouls away from the ball on the offensive side for UCF. They're starting to pile up now for Coach Abe, and that doesn't help, especially when her team is shooting under 18%.
Nope, and those are little things that just absolutely you can't afford. The margin for error in games like this is very slim. You can't afford to hurt yourself against a team like ASU, and they're just hurting themselves.
Now Ryan hurts ASU as she gives it back. 16-9, Arizona State leading here. 6:33 to go, first half. Good pressure here by the Sun Devils. Knight's able to get it in. This is Diamond Battles now running the point. She played on KK Wright's AAU team, followed her to Orlando to play for UCF. Kaba gets it inside, off the side of the backboard.
She promised KK she'd go wherever she went, and she is here at UCF. Really cool mentorship relationship there.
It's great for the coach when it works out that way. Not a lot of heavy lifting in the recruiting process.
Not at all. But come hell or high water, this team is staying in the zone.
Yep. Ryan lost it at the free throw line. Finds Ibis, left hand, no touch there. It's going to go back to UCF with 5:51 to go.
A good last few possessions here for UCF. Getting stops, that's how you chip back into a game that you're struggling to score in.
First round coverage of the Division I's basketball championship continuing tonight on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. UCF and VCU playing tonight on the men's side.
Taco Fall at UCF. Not too many players can reach his stature and ability at his size.
Buffalo beat the Arizona State men today. That's an upset.
I had that in my bracket. I really did.
The women trying to make things even for the Sun Devils.
How about Nate Oates and Hurley? They come
really
from the
good.
same, well, Oates coached under Hurley at Buffalo, so that's kind of a cool matchup there.
Third foul on Kaba. Masani Kaba, the 6'3" sophomore. And you got to think that Coach Abe is going to get her out of there in a hurry.
Yeah, she's going to sit her the rest of the half, typically to preserve in a game like this, especially because she's got some depth on her bench to turn to.
Johnson Chapman. Another free throw coming.
ASU has really attacked the zone. Like it's man-to-man, they have really played it pretty well. Setting screens and tracking down boards.
4 points for Johnson Chapman. Biggest lead for Arizona State in this game. It's up to 9. I have to think that I'm going to think about getting KK Wright as many touches here before the end of the half. But there's another Knights giveaway. Ekmark in transition. Got in too deep. Hansen able to get it back on the perimeter. Her three goes in from the corner.
Too much fiddling around with the basketball on the other end for UCF, and it leads to that turnover. And boy, Arizona State is making them pay off of the TOs.
The freshman from British Columbia. A 36% three-point shooter. They manufacture in the corner after the turnover.
Nice job by Ekmark, keeping her head on a swivel, and she gets a piece of it, and then they're able to run in transition. This is the best time to make a three. Good ball movement. You got 3 players touching the basketball and then replacing into space, getting behind the arc. And Arizona State just dominating this performance. UCF needs better ball movement and just execution in general. A lot of just dribbling and sticking on one side here.
KK Wright standing in the corner. Riley Richardson has done a great job on KK Wright so far, holding her to 5 points.
She's a stopper.
Thigpen, jumper, got it. They needed that.
Badly. And notice it's a second chance, an extra possession that they got it with.
That ends a 9-2 Arizona State run. Richardson trying to answer back, and she's hacked. Going up, and she'll go to the line in a 10-point game for the Sun Devils.
I like Riley Richardson's game. She is very smart, sees the game, finds her groove, doesn't let herself try to do too much. She lets the game come to her.
And foul on Fifi Endor, the senior from Senegal. And Richardson, a 75% foul shooter, hits the first. You know, we were talking to Coach Abe about, how they were going to stop Arizona State, and she said, starts with Riley Richardson. If we can shut her down, make her work extra hard, that's going to go a long way for us. But, I don't know that that's necessarily happened here in the first half.
It certainly hasn't. I mean, and there are other players on Arizona State that are able to do things, but Richardson is the one who orchestrates it all. So the mindset behind that is to pressure the point guard and make it hard for her to see the floor and run the offense. They have not been successful.
Coming right into your living room. Turnover number 7 for UCF here in the first half, as the Arizona State defense continues to churn on all cylinders. 3:40 to go first half. 22-11 Arizona State. Winner gets the winner of our second game, Miami and Florida Gulf Coast, coming up here in Coral Gables. And there's a 4 versus 13 matchup. Ibis from the short corner doesn't get it to go, and that's a foul on Taya Hansen for Arizona State, her first.
A good hustle. KK Wright getting to the position. Those are the little things that you need in a game like this. You've got to be able to get those rebounds.
Ryan Van Hefty back in the game for Arizona State alongside Kiki Russell. She's number 4 in goal, guarding right.
And see how Arizona State's able to switch a lot. They've got that kind of versatility. A lot of guard-to-guard, post-to-post switches because they all have that ability defensively.
Another one-and-done trip. And Arizona State capitalizes. Jade Van Hefty underneath, the freshman from Illinois, with her first basket.
Too easy. Wide open and nice patience for ASU, finding the extra person and pass.
Julianne, KK Wright has only taken 6 shots in this game for UCF. She averages 18 points. By far one of the best players in the American, but not getting a lot of touches.
And that's because Arizona State is not letting her. And that is a coach, Charlie Turner-Thorne, very smart. She's going to want other people to try to beat you.
Andor is able to score on that trip. Breaking the half-court pressure. Not getting a lot of touches.
And that's because Arizona State is not letting her. And that is a coach, Charlie Turner-Thorne, very smart. She's going to want other people to try to beat you.
Andor is able to score on that trip. Breaking the half-court pressure. UCF off the turnover. Here comes Wilson. Feeds the corner. Here's Wright.
Everything Wright gets tonight is going to be contested. It's not going to be an easy night. That's where she needs somebody else to really step up and help her, or it's too easy to cover.
Talked about our next game, Florida Gulf Coast and Miami. Who do you like in that one, Julianne?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think Miami has the upper hand, but Miami has a very healthy respect for Florida Gulf Coast. You cannot second guess a 19-game winning streak. The team knows how to shoot.
And 2 years ago, Florida Gulf Coast lost on a buzzer beater in the first round to Miami on this very floor. You know, the Eagles want another shot, even though there aren't, it's basically a different roster. The alumni love the draw.
Oh, yeah.
they want another chance at the Hurricanes.
And what's interesting about that matchup, Clay, is that the games Miami has struggled in and lost happen to be games where teams are three-point shooting teams, and they really spread you out. They're versatile, and so the matchups could be favorable for Florida Gulf Coast if they can knock them down from the perimeter and stretch Miami out.
Lead is 11 for the Sun Devils. 2 minutes to go, first half. Richardson inside to Alenga, off her foot.
Now that's where Alenga does not need to put the ball on the floor. Continue to pass it out. She's not a ball handler.
And L'Oreal Wilson, the senior from Louisiana, will work the offense. Thigpen has it poked away, and it'll stay on this end.
Well, you see Robbie Ryan is already there on the catch. I love the intensity of ASU. Their defense is on a swivel. They're on a string. They're talking. They're communicating. And they're there before UCF gets a chance to really execute.
Well, timeout. Arizona State, out of a great ACC again this year, and the 4th seed in the national tournament. And UCF can't get it in.
Arizona State sticking to what they do best, not rattled, defending first. UCF is totally rattled here. And remember, they haven't been in this situation. This isn't a team that gets to the tournament every single year the way that ASU has. This is 6 consecutive 20-win seasons for Charlie Turner-Thorne here and the Sun Devils. And 6 consecutive tournament appearances.
ASU could stand to be patient here. 1:20 to go in the half, tipped right into the hands of Umbalito, and she draws the contact. That'll be on Thigpen. Second on Kayla Thigpen, the senior from West Palm. And Umbalito will be on the line. Yeah, you've got a nice balance for Arizona State of veterans, freshmen like Umbalito, and then the middle-classmen in between. It's just a very good-looking roster.
And I remember last year, Coach Turner-Thorne saying, hey, we're so young, because she had a lot of sophomores that didn't play a lot of minutes as freshmen. Those girls are all juniors now, and yeah, they've got that experience mixed with some real good talent coming up, including Umbalito, who I like. She can certainly alter a game.
That's her first point. Lead back to a dozen now for Arizona State. They've led by as many as 14 here in the first half. UCF has struggled from the field, shooting 21%.
I mean, they can't even get a look, Clay.
They're struggling getting him inside. Great defense by Alenga for Arizona State. Shot clock under 10. And there is another forced bad shot by the Sun Devils.
One-on-one, isolation basketball. It's just a terrible possession.
Beautiful feed by Umbalito. Alenga can't get it to go. It's out of bounds with 44 seconds to go. Coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report with Maria Taylor. We're going to check in on the other first-round games. UConn getting it going with Towson here tonight. Texas and Indiana. And South Dakota and Clemson. We've seen the Coyotes up close and personal in the Summit League Championship, Julianne. That's a team that can play.
Those Yotes, they certainly bring out the fans too, don't they?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a great game. That 8-9 seed lost in the championship of the Summit League to the other South Dakota team.
South Dakota State.
The Jackrabbits.
Here's KK Wright. Shot clock is off. Chance for UCF to end this half on a high note. It has not been a good first half for Katie Abrahamson-Henderson's team.
Limited to 14 points here. They do need a bucket bad.
KK Wright, just the player to do it. Time winding down. Wright guarded by Richardson. Jumper ahead of the horn. Got it. That's what she did at the end of the first quarter.
Tierra McCowan in the post is pretty much unstoppable. I mean, that team and what they've done, winning the SEC this year, I mean, they've just been a handful. And I expect to see them go all the way as well. By Miami is probably one of the best post teams in the country too, and I would put them in that category with Mississippi State, wouldn't you?
No doubt. Mississippi State, one of the 1 seeds. And Arizona State starts off hot with Courtney Ekmark. She scored the first basket for the Sun Devils in this game, and she gets the first basket of the second half from 3.
That's a good way to start. I mean, if Arizona State needs to, they're going to make threes. So they've got a lot of different ways of scoring. Thig Pen is also being denied on the wing. Not really much help.
Wright drives. She gets the first shot for UCF. That was probably part of the discussion at halftime for Coach Abe. We've got to get KK more shots. But she comes up empty on her first attempt.
And you saw she went in Thig Pen's direction. That's a smart play as well. You want to have them on the same side so that you can kick out, and the help has to be there.
Secondary option, sure. Richardson misses. Kept alive by Ibis. Kiana Ibis, 5 points, 4 rebounds in this game. Ekmark again from 3, and there you go. That's her 3rd triple of the game, and the lead swells to the biggest of the night for Arizona State.
And no surprise, Courtney Ekmark bringing the relentless mindset and ability. She is their best competitor. And we already talked about it, but she's got 2 national championships under her belt. No, she didn't play a lot for UConn, but she was in that winning atmosphere.
Thigpen got a good look, can't get it to go, and there's a foul inside on Omakore. But Ekmark now 3 or more threes 11 times this season.
You know, I was going to say it. X marks the spot. Tremendous shot from Ekmark. I mean, she's just one of those players that can spread you out. But she's worked on driving the basketball too. She's worked on that aspect of her game. So she is more of a versatile player than she once was. And she is an Arizona native. Grew up watching Arizona State basketball and Charlie Turner Thorne.
It's a nice move for Brittany Smith, her first field goal. The 6'3" freshman who Coach Abe thinks has a ton of potential. She shows it there. And there's Nye Schuler with the steal.
And that's what they need more of. They need to muck this thing up. UCF has to get turnovers or force turnovers to get opportunities like this.
Thigpen off the front iron, and a foul underneath that's going to go against Smith, and I think that's her 3rd. Yeah, that is the 3rd on Brittany Smith. And over on the Arizona State bench is Johnson Chapman sitting down. She's got 3 personal fouls.
You see a lot of people taking it at each other here. 2 teams that want to take you off the bounce. And Johnson Chapman averages about 7 boards a game.
We knew it'd be physical at times. 2-on-1 the other way. Arizona State. Ekmark on the feet from Ryan.
And that is an easy way to break the press. If you're able to break UCF's press, you're going to get easy buckets at the other end. And they rely heavily on trying to turn you over, and Arizona State will have none of it. They're used to handling the pressure.
Already 8 points here in the second half for Ekmark. And Paul is fouled by Ryan. And that's the first on Robbie Ryan. Ryan has had ankle injuries the last couple of years, but she has been healthy here down the stretch for Arizona State, and that's been a big lift for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, she had ankle surgery in the offseason and then had another ankle problem. She sprained bad earlier in the year at the end of October, so she hasn't totally been herself, but she has done the best she can and added a spark. And seen her flashes of being back to her old self.
She'll head to the bench. As Jamisha Paul has her second free throw. Got them both. The steady veteran from nearby Pompano Beach. She's got some family and friends here in attendance tonight. 34-20, Arizona State with the lead. Here's that Knights pressure again. I tell you, Arizona State has handled it well tonight. Ekmark draws the foul out high.
I think it's frustrating for UCF.
And that's the 3rd on Wright.
Really silly reach-in fouls. And they're looking for the double team, of course, but Wright is certainly more reliable on the court than on the bench, and I can't imagine that Coach Abe is going to mess with keeping her in for too long.
Well, she's rolling the dice here with 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. KK Wright,
Trusting her
top
junior.
of that zone, yeah. At this point, that's what you got to do, and that's an offensive turnover as Arizona State travels. You know, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast, Julianne, how loose this UCF team appeared, but they played tight.
They have. They haven't played with the sense of freedom that we've seen them play throughout the season with, and you've got to give credit to where credit's due with ASU. I mean, they've made it hard.
They can make a turn here and get a spurt.
A lot of time left.
Seeking the first NCAA tournament win in program history, and maybe UCF can do more of that, get to the line, as Taya Hansen commits the foul.
UCF has been an anomaly to me this season. I'll be honest, Clay. They're a team that's gotten it done by committee, and I've talked to a lot of coaches around the country about them, and it's like they don't do just one thing right. They do it all together. They have good chemistry, and something is working with them. KK Wright obviously leading the charge, but they don't have a heck of a lot else offensively when you really look down their roster. But their chemistry's been good, and their defense and depth has really led them. They've counted on really wearing teams down with this press. So you have a team that can really beat the press. Good guard play. And we can get some easy ones.
Kiki Russell, the junior from Minnesota, gets it to Ekmark. And right through the hands of Hansen. That was a pass too hot to handle from Johnson Chapman.
That's what UCF's looking to do. They want to make you play a notch faster than you're used to playing.
12th turnover against Arizona State. And Zumbalito will come back in for Hansen. L'Oreal Wilson back on the floor for the Knights. With 6:19 to go here in the third quarter from Coral Gables. Wilson from Kenner, Louisiana. And pestered by the freshman. Three, wide open for Nye Schuler, can't hit. And that'll go out of bounds to Arizona State. When we were talking to Coach Abe about Schuler, she said she's the reason we're in the national tournament. She doesn't get a lot of publicity, but she is no doubt our leader.
She's their glue, gets no attention, but everyone on her team knows they can't win without her. And that's because she's their defensive communicator. She's the one that leads them on that end. KK Wright leads the offense, but tremendous player. Her timing's impeccable, and she's a good teammate.
Plans to be a pediatrician when she's done with her college career. They work it inside, and it's Johnson Chapman for Arizona State. First field goal of the second half for Charnay. And the lead stays 14 for Arizona State. Paul off the heel, got the bounce, and Janisha Paul has her first field goal today.
Finding a way to hang around a little bit here.
And that's important for a team.
In this tournament, absolutely. It's a game of runs.
When you're that kind of an underdog.
Yep. Although out of all the underdogs, they did get the highest percentage of potentially winning this game.
.448 to go, third quarter. The lead is a dozen for the Sun Devils here on a Miami Friday night. With her third program that she's guided to the NCAA tournament, Missouri State, Albany, and now UCF.
Her most recent Albany, tremendous year there.
Here comes Wright, off the break, can't hit.
And those are things you just have to finish in a game like this.
Missed the layup, and then Arizona State scores on the other end. Johnson Chapman now with 8 points.
At some point, you have to make shots in a game like this. It just comes down to execution. You miss a bunny, and then you give up a bunny at the other end. Not a good formula for UCF.
Yeah, Coach Abe kind of gritting her teeth over there after that turn of events. Star player on a breakaway, gotta make them. Here's Thigpen. Inside, had it rejected. Thigpen for three, got it back. Can't convert. And Ibis with another rebound. She's got 6 to go along with 5 points. Hasn't been a great offensive game for Ibis, but she's doing the work on the defensive glass.
She isn't trying to do too much, and that's the sign of a good player. You take what the defense gives you, and they're playing well.
And as I say that, Ibis with a pretty turnaround left hand.
The basket is really big for her this season, and she can impact the game in the post area, and she's a little bit undersized, but at 6'1", she gets done.
KK Wright dropping it inside. A little bit of an elbow or a shoulder there from Brittany Smith, but no whistle. Play continues. At least that's what it looked like from our vantage point. We saw a lot of offensive fouls called in the first half. None here in the second half.
That's going to be 2 shots in the ball. So that's exactly what we pretty much thought was going to happen here.
So Kiana Ibis at the line, an 80% foul shooter, and this game continues to get further and further away from UCF.
But that's one you have to make. It's an obvious call.
And the lefty has a smooth stroke. And Arizona State's lead is now 42-24 with 3:14 to go in the third quarter. The Sun Devils on a hot streak too. They have made their last 5 field goal attempts. Richardson, 4th all-time in assists at Arizona State. She'll drop it inside. Johnson Chapman trying to get her own miss, but Schuler beat her to it. And the Knights really have to start making trips up the floor count.
This is where you've got to take this in increments, Clay. 2-minute increments, and try to win the 2-minute mark to try to get back into this thing and not let it get any more away from you.
18-point lead, trying to cut into it. And that'll be a foul on Arizona State. Well, the Sun Devils have one of the country's best college hockey teams. They are going to be hearing their name called on the selection special 7 Eastern on ESPNU this Sunday night. The only independent in Division I college hockey this year. What a job they have done with that program in such short fashion. Johnson Chapman now with 4 fouls for Arizona State. So she goes back to the bench. Richardson breaking the press. Ryan stops and pops. A little strong. There's another rebound for Ibis. Off the window and in.
Well, she's a killer. She's got the killer instinct. She's first to the basketball, and there's nobody putting a body on her. Confident and comfortable down low.
Well, you talked about her at the top of the broadcast. You said if she plays well, it's going to be good for Arizona State, and she has.
She is the active leader in points, in rebounds, in steals, in blocks in their program currently. I mean, she's a baller.
Cava misses close. She really stepped up her scoring in the conference tournament, but it's been a low-scoring day today for Masani Cava. Just 2 points in this one. Say that about a lot of the Knights just have been a little bit off, including KK Wright. Inside again they go. Alenga with the 2-point field goal, and I'll tell you.
Well, Notre Dame certainly has had their measure of success. Shot will be the shot to remember.
Yeah, no doubt.
For all time for Agumbawale.
Hard to live up to that, though. I mean, now, how do you top that?
How do you top it is right. I mean, a team that has been amazing over the years.
Wright got her own miss, and UCF is finally able to stop a 10-0 Arizona State run. They get the rebound. That's Cava. She'll get the clear. Here comes UCF. They've got 9 field goals made. They've also got 9 turnovers. That's not a good number. Not a good balance.
It's been Arizona State sticking to their style.
Kiki Russell got in a little too deep. Wright drops it inside to Cava. Back outside, going to the other side of the rim is Jamisha Paul.
And finally, a couple of opportunities offensively for UCF, and few and far between.
Ekmark Boy, we've seen the Sun Devils slip behind the defense a lot tonight.
They're getting out and running. I mean, they're grabbing the rebound. The rebound has been what has really helped them get extra points and run the floor.
Leading scorer in this game tonight, Courtney Ekmark. And there's Kaba answering back for UCF. Knifing to the hoop, Umbalito. And that's going to end the third quarter. 48-30. Taylor and Notre Dame open up tomorrow. Louisville, a 1 seed. They breeze past Robert Morris today. And we talked about Mississippi State. They play tonight against Southern. So those are the 1 seeds. Those are obviously the favorites in each region. But you got UConn out there. You've got other perennial powers. Tennessee back in the tournament. Yeah. Things can happen.
It's good to see Tennessee in the tournament. I didn't know if they would get in for sure. And now that they're in, I think that they could
make some
noise.
Hay. Who knows? Well, Arizona State has played well from the opening tip in this game. They've led by as many as 22.
Talking to Charlie, she said we can't let up. I mean, that's the kind of coach she is. And she knows at any given moment you can't let a team go on a run. But we could have guessed this one in terms of the low-scoring type of game. First team to 50 really wins it. Two defensive-minded teams.
I don't think we could have predicted that KK Wright would be held into single digits this late in the game. She's still sitting on 9 points. A player who averages 18. I mean, she really hasn't been a factor in this game.
Hasn't gotten very good looks at all tonight. And that is because Arizona State has stuck to what they do well. And I've been harping on the fact that she's got no assists tonight, 3 fouls. She's just had a hard time with Arizona State's defense. And they've held Pac-12 teams to under their regulars. They've even limited the best players in the country to under their normal averages as well.
That was a pretty pass from Schuler at the point to Masani Kaba. Hansen, and it's out of bounds. Stay with Arizona State with 21 on the shot clock. As Olenga's going to come back in, the 6'1" senior from France. Program record, 6 straight NCAA tournaments for Arizona State. We talked about that. They nearly upset the eventual national champ South Carolina in the 2017 tournament. So talking about, yeah, it was. And talking about teams that could make some noise, this certainly seems like one of them, the way they played here tonight. That's in and out for Ibis.
I think they're in a pretty favorable bracket, too. I think Arizona State could certainly give Miami, if Miami wins the next game and the seeding shakes out, they could give them a good game. But Miami is a dangerous 4 seed. That's a seed, that's a team that's beaten 2 of the top teams in the nation in Notre Dame and Louisville already this year.
Right. Finally gets a field goal here in the second half. Now, you talk about Arizona State against Miami. They have won all 3 prior meetings, but there'll be much more on the line this time if they do go head-to-head here in Coral Gables.
Clearly, Miami still has to win the game after this.
Yeah, that's not a given. Ibis, well defended by Schuler. That's what she does, but she finds Ryan on the perimeter. Can't get it to go. And Battles will clear it for the Knights.
And UCF needs a bucket here. I mean, they can't afford to not score to continue this drought.
How about the freshman Battles?
Continuing to chip back. This is suddenly a 12-point game. If you let them hang around, Arizona State has not put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and Charlie Turner-Thorne wants a timeout. She says enough is earlier, Julianne. Of all the teams in this tournament, they had the best chance to pull an upset in the first round.
Yeah, how about that? 22.5%. That's respect right there. And then Quinnipiac right behind them. I do think Quinnipiac can definitely beat South Dakota State. They upset Miami 2 years ago. So some really great mid-majors. But UCF on an 8-0 run here where they've struggled to score the basketball all night. And they've hung around. But too many turnovers from ASU. The one bugaboo for them. 15 turnovers, and they average 12 a game. So Charlie Turner-Thorne will look back at that and not be too happy. But that's what UCF does.
Well, they've got 7 minutes to work with. First trip in the tournament in 8 years, and they give it away. And here's Ibis in the paint, and she's fouled. Ibis will go to the line. Boy, just like that, the momentum shifts again.
You and I talked about it at the break. If UCF could make some threes, and we've had no threes really taken in this game for either team, they could get back into this. But turning it over is not something you want to do, and then fouling Ibis to top it off, who you don't want to see at the line.
Third foul on Schuler. Best season in team history for UCF, 26 wins. Now they're down 11. Check that 13, my fault. 49-36. Arithmetic is part of this job.
It's all right. It's not my thing. And we see a full court press from Arizona State, a little token pressure.
Diamond Battles has looked good during the second half, helping run the point. KK Wright got in a little foul trouble. Here's Wright.
Both of them on the floor here.
Strong for KK, and Richardson clears. Again, UCF has struggled shooting here tonight. They're 29% from the field. They've been better in the second half, but overall it's been a struggle. Second chance. They didn't reset the shot clock. Missed the iron. Here's Ibis. Again, it's short. Rebound at Lenga. And her putback isn't good, and Schuler gets the rebound for UCF. There's Martin for three, and that's the one they needed.
Yep, bad. They've not been able to knock it down from distance and spread the floor out.
Ekmark has knocked it down from distance. She drives this time and finishes on the baseline.
And guess what, Clay? That's why she had the drive, because she has knocked it down from distance, and that makes the defense have to defend you honestly. And she's improved that part of her game off the bounce.
17 for Ekmark.
Makes her deadly.
Now UCF's going to have to start hoisting threes. They're 1 for 7 until that one from KK Wright, her second triple. And the second of the game for the Knights.
And she's more than capable of making them. She's only taken 3. And she's made 2 of them.
Do you like this approach for Arizona State? A little more patience now?
They're being patient. Clock. But look at how much room. See, look, you're giving her so much room.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to take that.
Kiki Russell.
Kinker Wright leaving her so much room. I mean, she had about 10 minutes to shoot that. Sip a cup of coffee.
Three-pointer for Russell, junior from Minneapolis. Schuler for 3. And it's tied up. Jump ball, possession arrow is going to give it back to UCF.
Here defensively, KK Wright just daring Kiki Russell to take that shot, and she said, hey, you going to give me that room? I'm going to put it up. I mean, she's laying way off of her, so that's the way to knock it down in the defense. Make them respect you.
Actually going to be Arizona State ball. 4:38 to go. Not a lot of fouls here in the second half. A lot of fouls here in the quarter. 4:30 to play. Ten on the shot clock. Here's Ekmark. Works it inside, spinning, working hard. Johnson Chapman, a little strong. Schuler with the rebound for UCF.
You see they're trying to kill a little clock here.
KK Wright, that's a long 2 for KK.
You want to make sure if you're Arizona State, you're not playing not to lose, and you're still playing with aggressiveness instead of giving the ball away.
Off the steal, it's Wright. No, missed in close again. She's had a couple of those close looks that she hasn't been able to convert.
ASU lucked out there. That was 3 possessions in a row almost, but you're giving UCF opportunities.
And the Sun Devils will bleed some more clock as we go to 3.5 to play. At what point does UCF start fouling?
Not yet.
Still too early?
It's still too early. And let's see how many they've got to give. They've got some to give.
Ekmark, another three. That's her 4th three tonight.
She's been tremendous, Clay. She's been all over the place and bringing the veteran leadership to the table, finding a rhythm.
7th on the all-time Arizona State three-point shooting list. Having herself a night here in the first round as Schuler will head to the line for UCF.
But Courtney Ekmark has had a heck of a game. She's come to play and she's spotting up and knocking it down from distance. See how she moves to space. That's what you have to do. You can't stay in one spot if you're a shooter. But she's driven the ball today. She's shot from three well. Now she's knocked down 3 or more threes 10 times this season, so she's got to be respected out there.
We talked about it at the top, how Ekmark is kind of the emotional leader for the Sun Devils. The killer instinct that Charlie talked about, how she goes, a lot of times the team will go, and she's had that killer spunk tonight.
She loves Coach Turner Thorne's style. And I said it earlier, she grew up watching Sun Devils basketball. She was familiar with Breon January, who's assistant coach of Coach Turner Thorne. And so she's gone to all the youth things, and she just fits well with their system. And it's a competitive, edgy system. I like it. Toughness. Talk about full circle, though, huh?
No doubt.
Now Breon January is coaching her on the bench. She plays for the Phoenix Mercury this season.
Johnson Chapman, as the shot clock was winding down, turned it over. And we'll remind you, Sports Center tonight after NCAA Wrestling with John Anderson and Michael Eaves. Post-game reaction from Zion and Duke after that game against North Dakota State. Plus, the Thunder and Raptors go at it again 2 days after Toronto's overtime win. And the Lakers facing playoff elimination. Who would have thunk that?
Who would have thunk it is right.
Mid-March, Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN.
No LeBron James in the playoffs?
Yeah. Now Kaba trying to keep UCF in this bowl game. Lead is 14 for the Sun Devils, 2:08 to go. Bolito inside. Another offensive rebound for the Sun Devils. Rudin will bring it back out on the perimeter.
That's been their recipe. That has absolutely killed UCF.
40-26, the Sun Devils winning the rebound battle.
It's just positioning, and it's just getting to the spot, something that they work on in practice all the time.
And now Charlie wants a timeout with 1:39 to go. Points, 10 rebounds for number 42.
She scored in double figures in all but 5 games this season, Clay. So she has been so consistent.
Off the turnover, Wright will lay this one in. That bounced around a little bit, but she doesn't make the mistake that she did in the first half.
Well, now you like the urgency you're seeing from UCF. Where was that earlier?
Nobody getting in her way, and one for Iris Umbolito.
What a play.
Nobody could slow her down.
And Iris Umbolito, the 6'1" Frosch, turning and facing, taking it off the bounce. How about that for a stride and for some length and having a little hesitation? How do you get from past the top of the key all the way to the hole with no help defense rotating? And that's just poor defense.
3-point play for Umbolito. And that might be the haymaker. A 15-point lead again for Arizona State. And the Knights give it away.
And Umbolito is a post player doing that.
Well, she's got a bright future.
Never be allowed, and absolutely she does. She's versatile to be able to do that from Spain. So she's got some championship experience overseas, which helps a lot for a freshman.
Well, the game plan was in place for Coach Abe and UCF. It didn't play out here tonight. They wanted to speed up the tempo. Arizona State wanted to slow it down to a certain extent, but I think the Sun Devils have been able to run and break the press and really have not struggled with that aspect of the game here tonight.
Right. They've had some turnovers, which kind of happened late,
Yeah.
but it's going to happen. And they've been able to make up for it in other areas, like the rebounding, making shots when needed to, executing. And yeah, they've broken the press pretty easily and got some easy looks.
And the seniors have led the way. Ibis, who we talked about, and Courtney Ekmark. 37 seconds until Arizona State will punch a ticket to the second round. There's Ibis, a double-double here in round one. Ekmark coming off the floor. She gets a round of applause from the Arizona State fans who have made the long journey. And the best season in UCF history is just a half minute away from coming to an end.
Survive in advance, Clay. It doesn't have to be pretty. And there were a lot of good things from Arizona State tonight.
No points for Schuler. It's a tough way for the senior's career to end. Kayla Thigpen, no points in the second half. This is her last collegiate game.
ASU did it on the defensive end. I mean, to hold them to under 50 points, that's a feat.
And they hold the